it's
The
kind of
loyal ones.
thank you. It's kind of a 2-for-1, but both concerned cornerback. Any update on Keon Cross and if that'll be a long-term thing? And with Byron, do you think he'll practice this week? And do we know that he'll definitely play this season? Is that a question?
Well, Keon, he's a tough one to kind of like nail down with a timeline for a good reason. He's one of the fastest healers that I've ever been around. He's shown that the couple opportunities he's had since he's been here when he's had something. So we'll reassess midweek, only because it's hard to kind of nail that down. And then with Byron, like it is a big deal to put someone out there on the field, be a cornerback with that's trying to perform at a high level, with a lower body extremity injury. So we've been judicious with it. I don't think we're going to see him practice this week, but we're really just trying to do it the right way, and it's hard to know fully, when that's going to happen, because if I gave a timeline, I've had a couple timelines in my head, held back from giving you those timelines, and I've been correct in doing so. So we'll just be taking that week by week and watching him work in the process.
To his clear, are you going through the week anticipating he'll practice as a starter and ultimately start on Sunday?
The plan is for him to approach the game as the starter. So he'll be able to get those reps in on Wednesday, and felt really good about how he was able to get back on the field. What's unique about his whole process was that his last full week of practice was the week of the Buffalo Bills game, because when you have a Thursday night game, you're walking through, so you're talking about your last full speed practice. So that last week was, a big week to get through get through the protocol, see all the specialists, get all the information, and then get them back moving around. He responded real well and was, his exuberant self, and we'll be excited to see him practice on Wednesday. And I know the team will be as well.
I know you haven't wanted to make excuses for being without him, but what does having to do for this offense, this team?
No, I mean, I think he's a captain. He's a captain for a reason. And as I've told you guys from the onset, I think he's a very, very good player at that position. So, very, very good players. They definitely give people a boost, not because of what other people aren't, but more just because he is who he is. So, he's a strong fabric of this team, and that's exciting when you get to go play with one of your brothers, which is why the team will be excited, and it will be exciting.
Did you see from just him tossing the ball around last week, at the end of last week, did you see that he's not going to have any problem with rust, or do you want to wait and see if rust is going to be an issue for Tua?
No, I don't anticipate. I don't anticipate necessarily rust from a mechanic standpoint. He's pretty gifted in that realm, and he was really the same guy. Luckily he hadn't forgotten he didn't start throwing right-handed, so that was a good thing. But there's always, you're a product of your process in the NFL season. So, there'll be some things that, for him, getting used to the whole process, there's a little rust in that. But typically when that happens, nobody really knows. You're just getting used to, it's Wednesday and we're walking through, getting the huddle correct and proceeding from play to play and calling the plays to the guys and emphasizing the information to each player in the huddle that you need to. There's always a little rust when you take time away in that regard, but physiologically and how he plays the position, he's been so mentally locked into everything we've been doing. I expect him to be pretty comfortable executing that.
When he does go back into the game, do you want him to be more cautious about how he protects himself? Do you not want him thinking about that, or what's the line there when he goes back?
No, I've talked to him, a lot sooner than this week. When he'd come by the office and we'd just kind of talk about, how things have kind of gone. There's risks in this game, and you got to be able to control the controllables. One thing for him is you love his competitive nature, okay? But there is a time in a play where you have to kind of concede, and that's where he's kind of been focusing on, because it's something that's not natural to him. He wants to break every tackle and he doesn't like when plays don't work. Well, sometimes they won't. So that's something that he's mindful of, and I think that's a consistency of all the really great quarterbacks that you think of, the guys that you look up to, the guys that kind of set forth the example of how to play the position. They do find ways to be available, and part of that is that concession. But that is all things considered, that's probably, it's a good problem to have in terms of a competitor. You just need to be able to understand your importance to the team and how sometimes the best play you can make is a throwaway.
After Jalen's fumble in the game, he appeared visibly distraught and just really upset about the play after the fact. I'm curious what it means to you when you get that tangible visual evidence of a guy that it just means so much to him.
Well, it's definitely case by case for him in particular. I recognize it as a good thing in nature. Like, it's good that you're mad. But he's a young player that is going to have a wonderful career, and we rely on him to make plays for us. So to me, I think the one of the things that he can take a step forward in is being able to translate that frustration towards the next play rather than his helmet and the sideline bench, because people understand where he's coming from, but also what he aspires to be as a player, and what I want to see him get to. When you're a big time leader, you end up translating that energy for things between whistles. So it was definitely not a negative thing, but something that I could that I used the opportunity to try to give him a picture and a vision of growth moving forward, because things will happen that you don't want to happen. You know, regardless, he was trying to catch the first turnover that bounced off of him and was an interception. Then he was trying to score when he let the ball be a little loose, and 22 made a terrific play. That is coming from the right place. He's trying to help the team win, and then you can just learn from those examples because they're very powerful and emotional, because that's the type of competitor he is.
The unique circumstance of Stephen Ross being suspended and now coming back, what, if any, impact does an owner's return have on the team? And what have your interactions been like with Stephen Ross and so limited to?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm excited to talk to him. I haven't talked to him in a long time, and you know, since daybreak on Mondays, my day, even up until this point, I'm literally meeting to hanging out with you guys. So I'll be excited to talk to him. I think every team's different. I know this particular team. There's, you know, with regard to everyone in the organization, the players really appreciate him because he allows myself, Chris, and everyone else in the organization to do whatever it takes necessary to try to produce a winner, and he gives us all the resources possible. So I know players will be excited to see him just because of that and their respect and regard for him and what we're trying to do here. So it'll be fun, and I'll be glad to see him because it's been a while, and we all very much appreciate him.
Speaking of some of your leaders, yesterday X kind of spoke on the need for guys to make plays, specifically putting more points up on the offensive side of the ball. What can you say about his leadership, and what have some of the other captains stressed after yesterday, and what has kind of the response been from the team?
No, I believe with the context that X was speaking on, I 100% agree with him, and I think every player does too. Like, you have to score more points than the opponent to win, and we're in the business of winning. So that is without a doubt. Like, I totally agree with him. I also know where X is kind of where his footing is with regard to the team, and he is stating what everyone is saying, which is that we need to put together a complete football game to get the results we want. So I appreciate that. Really, all the guys really want to win, and speaking to the captains today, there's without a shadow of a doubt complete confidence in our ability to do what it takes to win on both sides of the ball. And I think when guys are more demanding of themselves than other people, which really all 7 of our captains are, their sentiments do not go unnoticed and are supported because they lead by the best example you can give, which is accountability, personal accountability over everything.
I know you said with the Toronto and Austin, the decision was made to hold them out. Were they on pace? Do they appear to be on pace, barring setbacks, which are always, of course, unpredictable? Do they appear on pace to play Sunday?
No, with both guys for individual reasons, I feel good about where Armstead got without playing in the game. I thought that helped him, and he's a guy that as he works through this stuff, he'll be day to day, but you know, I know he really wants to be out there, and I'm fully confident that if he's capable, he'll be out there. So I would say it was a step in the right direction for him not to play because he's been gritting through a lot of stuff. So I feel good about that. With Austin, we're really, you know, when you think about a high ankle sprain, or a low ankle sprain, or really anything with an ankle, that for an offensive lineman is a tough injury. You can feel better, but then you now you have to go lean on a 300-pound individual and try to displace him, and that force from ground up is challenging. He didn't have any setbacks, so I feel good about that. It's more about being judicious with that process, so we don't put himself in a position where he has any setbacks moving forward, or he doesn't all of a sudden. We put him in a position where he's super vulnerable in a game and isn't able to complete it, which is tough with the active roster selection. So we'll be monitoring that, and a lot of guys have gotten good reps and are getting better in their place. So hopefully we'll get one or two of them back this week. If not, we'll just keep getting better with the players on the field.
Mike, I want to ask you about a couple of other injuries. Needham, has he had surgery yet, or is that upcoming, like tomorrow or something? And also Skylar, obviously with the thumb.
Uh-huh.
What update might you have for us?
So I'm not sure he had surgery, but Nick will be put on IR for the Achilles, and then as far as who was the second? Skylar. That he's such a tough competitor. He's in, you know, that whole little bucket of what our whole team seems to be, which is like day to day. So especially Wednesday, gonna reassess where he's at. But right now it's kind of it's super unknown with that fresh injury to his throwing hand.
Thank you guys.
Cool. Thank you.